I used to believe that fame could fix everything, not for vanity. I just wanted to be seen, needed it. I was drowning in debt, ignored, invisible. Fame, I thought, would pull me out. Once I was big enough, the brands would come, the money would follow, and everything would finally be okay. The first taste came from a site called Starlinks. Realistic followers, intelligent engagement, become who the world wants to follow. I bought the basic package. By morning, I had 150,000 followers. My notifications were on fire. Comments like, "Queen behavior," "Obsessed with your vibe." "Where have you been all my life?" I cried. I felt seen. Mia, my best friend, messaged me.
"This is dangerous."
She warned.
"It's fake and it'll swallow you."
I replied, "Just wait. When I blow up, I'll take care of both of us. Promise." She didn't push again. Not yet. I kept buying. 500,000, 1,000,000, 5, 10. I watched my follower count rise like a heartbeat on life support. But offline, I was still nobody. At fashion events, no one recognized me. At restaurants, no one cared about my 10 million followers. No brand replied to my emails. Then came the skeptics. Who even is this girl? How does she have more followers than Taylor Swift? Bot-farmed fraud. Sad. And the exposés. YouTube videos tearing me apart, showing my engagement spikes, fake comments, rented admiration. Then, I saw her, Mia, in one of the interviews, sitting across from a podcaster.
"She's not a bad person, but she's addicted. I tried to help. She pushed me away."
I blocked her that night. Traitor! I spat. You'll regret this when I'm really famous. That's when I bought Starlink's Platinum. It included high-grade interaction, AI fan chat, even mannequins with embedded camera lenses to simulate real-life events. I rented a warehouse, built a stage, hung banners with my name in gold, dressed 200 mannequins like adoring fans. My fan meeting streamed live. The night of the event, I wore white, lit just right. I stepped on stage, heart pounding. 146,000 people watching. Hearts floated up like glitter. Comments poured in. "We love you. She's glowing. Fan meet of the year," I sang. I smiled. I thanked them. You believed in me when no one else did. This moment, it's everything. And then, a click. A metal door creaked at the back of the warehouse. Footsteps, slow, heavy. A man stepped into the light. Bald, broad-shouldered, black shirt soaked in sweat. In his hand, a thick steel pipe. He walked down the center aisle, passing rows of mannequins whose empty stares never wavered. My voice faltered. Who are you?" He smiled like someone who'd waited for this moment a long time.
"Time's up, sweetheart. You owe us."
"I'm live streaming," I stammered. "There are thousands watching." He glanced at the camera and snorted.
"They're bots. Just like your fame. You paid for this fantasy and now reality's collecting."
I froze. Then he swung the pipe. Crack. A mannequin's head flew clean off, bouncing off the stage. Wham! Another was crushed at the chest, splitting open in a burst of stuffing and plastic. Thud. One was kicked off the platform, its stiff limbs crashing to the floor like a fallen god. I stumbled back, tripping over fallen legs and shattered illusions.
"You worship this,"
he shouted, smashing another.
10 million lies wearing lipstick.
I screamed into the mic. "Someone help me. Please, call the police." The chat exploded. Bro is unhinged. This is insane content, OMG. Scripted or real? He laughed.
They love the drama. Keep screaming.
He grabbed a banner with my face and ripped it in half. Then he turned to me.
You bought love. Now you pay in flesh.
I tried to run. My heel snapped. I hit the floor. The pipe came down crack into my shin. Pain exploded through me. I screamed until my throat bled. 172,000 watching. Wait! Was that real? Bruh, she's crying for real. This live stream is wild. I crawled to the camera. Please, I whispered, barely able to breathe. Someone. He raised the pipe again, but suddenly, a voice cut through the chaos.
Get away from her!
From the shadows, a figure sprinted across the warehouse. Fast, fierce, unstoppable. She gripped a broken mannequin's arm like a club, and with a roar I'd never heard from her before, she swung it with all her strength. I blinked through the blood in my eyes. Mia. She sprayed something into his face. Pepper spray. Then shoved him back with everything she had. Sirens wailed in the distance. She dropped to her knees beside me, arms shaking.
I told you this would destroy you.
Then darkness swallowed me whole. I woke up in a hospital, leg in a cast, phone gone, channel deleted. Mia was asleep in the chair next to me. She had paid off the debt. All of it. Why? I asked, tears streaming down my face. After everything I said? She squeezed my hand.
Because I was the only one really watching you.
Now, I have 43 followers. Just Mia. A few old classmates. My cousin. A girl from high school I barely remember. No brands. No blue check. But I still post. I sing sometimes. I talk about healing. About being honest. About pain. The comments are few, but they're real. You're brave. I'm glad you're okay. This version of you feels human. And for the first time in my life, that's enough. You probably know me, or used to know me. The body positivity girl, the one who kept it real. People liked how thin I was, and praised me for listening to my body, while they were still struggling to accept theirs. Then they say I'm a fraud. They say my message is twisted, that I hide cruelty behind pastel filters and cheerful affirmations. But I've always been honest. Only eat when you're truly hungry. That was my mantra, my truth. It kept me disciplined, controlled, pure. But something has changed. One morning, I woke up to a mess in the kitchen. The fridge door was wide open, milk dripping down the shelves, half-eaten apples, protein bars torn from their wrappers and crumbled on the floor. My jaw tightened. I lived alone, and I hadn't touched any of that. Was someone in my apartment? The idea of an intruder terrified me. Someone watching me, entering while I slept. I couldn't sleep the next night, so I ordered a home security camera and set it up in the kitchen. The next morning, my stomach turned before I even looked at the footage. More crumbs. A banana peel in the sink. The smell of peanut butter lingering in the air. I opened the app and pressed play. What I saw made my blood run cold. It was me, stumbling into the kitchen at 3:12 a.m., barefoot, eyes open but empty. I looked, possessed. I grabbed whatever I could, cold chicken, spoonfuls of almond butter, even raw oats straight from the container. My mouth moved too fast, too wide. I chewed like I'd been starving for days. I didn't remember any of it. The next day, I threw away everything. Every snack, every spice, every emergency granola bar. I left only a single container with a carefully measured 300-calorie meal. That was enough. That was all I needed. I would not let my body betray me again. But it did. The next morning, I woke up with threads on my tongue. At first, I thought it was a bad dream, but my pillows were torn, foam and feathers scattered across the room. The edge of the sofa had bite marks. Actual bite marks. My teeth ached. My gums were bleeding. I watched the footage with shaking hands. There I was again, wandering the apartment. But this time, I didn't go to the kitchen. I tore through my closet, biting fabric, chewing on tank tops and socks. Then I turned to the couch, ripping at the seams, shoving stuffing into my mouth with terrifying hunger. I fell to the ground and dry heaved, but I couldn't stop watching. I called Jay, my boyfriend. I hadn't planned to tell him, but I was scared. I think I'm sleep-eating. He came over that night, holding my trembling hands, promising,
I'll stay with you. We'll get through this.
I slept beside him that night. For the first time in days, I felt safe. Until I woke up in a hospital bed. White lights, white sheets, white walls. Then the door opened. Jay wasn't there. One officer stepped inside. Behind him, a doctor with a clipboard and tired eyes.
You're awake.
The officer said, "Where is he? Where's Jay?" They exchanged glances.
We need to show you something.
It was night vision footage from Jay's phone. He must have been filming me to help figure out what was happening. The angle was shaky, but clear enough. I watched as I sat up in bed. Jay stirred, whispered something. I turned to him, then lunged. My limbs flailed, sharp and unnatural. My mouth latched onto his arm, tearing into flesh. He screamed, kicked, tried to run. I dragged him down. Blood. So much blood. He broke free and locked himself in the bathroom, phone still recording. He was crying, begging someone to come.
Please. She's not herself.
I stopped watching. I couldn't breathe. No! That's not me! That's not me! But it was. They found him. Alive. Barely. He called the police. Said I tried to eat him. Eat him. They placed me under psychiatric observation. Apparently, it's called nocturnal sleep-related eating disorder. But no one had ever seen a case like this. The doctor said the level of psychological suppression I'd maintained, denial of hunger, hatred of weakness, could have mutated my subconscious into something monstrous. That's why they keep me here now, strapped to a bed. No mirrors, no utensils. My meals are liquid, monitored, rationed. They don't want me to chew, but I still feel it. The need, the craving, not for food. I've tried screaming, reasoning. I tell them I'm better, that I've learned, that I'll eat real food now. I'll eat cake, I'll eat bread, I'll eat anything, please just. But when the lights go off, it happens again. At night, the hunger takes over. The straps strain against my skin. My jaw clenches. My mouth waters. The nurses say I growl in my sleep. One of them swore they saw me smile while dreaming. I used to say, only eat when you're truly hungry. Now, I'm starving.
I arrived in Los Angeles when I was 22, dragging a scuffed suitcase and a head full of fragile dreams. I wanted to act, not just be famous, not just be seen, but to perform something that mattered. I wanted to be somebody. Everyone said I had the look. Tan skin, wide eyes, and the kind of youthful fragility that casting directors seem to eat alive. At first, I thought that was a compliment. Now I know better. The first time I met him, Piddy, was in the gold-tinted corridors of Empire House Studios. The walls were lined with platinum records and golden trophies. Piddy didn't audition me. He just invited me for a chat in his office. He wore sunglasses indoors, the kind of man who never broke eye contact, even through 2 inches of designer lenses. He didn't ask what roles I wanted or what my dreams were. He asked how far I was willing to go. Then he stood up, walked over, and without warning, laid a hand on my shoulder. It slid down my back like grease.
Fame leaves a mark, baby.
He whispered. I froze. Back at my apartment, I stripped down and stared at myself in the bathroom mirror. My skin still tingled where he touched me. And that's when I saw it. A red handprint. Bright, raw, and burning across the middle of my back. It wasn't paint. It wasn't a bruise. It didn't hurt, didn't fade, didn't wipe away. I scrubbed myself until my skin peeled, but the mark stayed. I stopped sleeping, stopped auditioning. My inbox was full, but my soul felt hollow. Weeks passed. Then came the white party. I wasn't invited as a guest. I was just a server. He threatened me, said if I didn't comply, he'd release the casting video from that day online. Everyone was dressed in white. Stark, ceremonial white. The kind of white that hides blood, but never sin. Celebrities mingled with producers. Influencers posed beside men who ran studios like kingdoms. That's when I started seeing them. Red handprints. On the backs of dancers. On the thighs of stylists. Around the necks of young interns. All glowing red under the same kind of white light that revealed mine. A woman leaned over the champagne table, and 5 deep red fingers wrapped around her bicep. It was Piddy's wife. And that's when I understood. Only the marked can see the marks. I was not alone. I joined a quiet group online, a closed circle of those who had seen the red handprints, survivors, not just women, men too, a cameraman, a backup vocalist, a personal trainer. All carried marks from the same parties, same rooms, same man. We shared stories, shared proof. We compiled our evidence, glitches in footage, unedited photos, glimpses of handprints in the cold fluorescence of dressing rooms, green rooms, hotel lobbies. We built a case. I told the others, we can do this, we can fight. But then, I got the message, a voice memo, from a number I didn't recognize, but the voice was unmistakable. Piddy.
You open your mouth, Hannah,
He said, calm as a scalpel.
and I'll open the vault. You know the one. Room 7, white party, champagne room. There's footage. You were drugged, but baby, the camera doesn't care. The internet won't either.
3 days later, the video dropped. Low res, grainy, dim lighting. But my face was unmistakable. I was dazed, barely able to stand. He was behind me, his hand pressed to my skin. It went viral before I could even scream. The headlines didn't say survivor. They said, actress caught in scandal with hip-hop mogul. Nobody forced her. Another clout chaser? Agents dropped me. My email filled with threats and offers, none of them professional. Studios blacklisted me. People whispered. Some looked at me with pity. Most didn't look at all. My career was over. No one wanted to hire the girl from the clip. No one cared how it got made. No one wanted the truth. I received a warning message.
There are still plenty of other casting videos. Be a good girl and do as you're told.
After that, the stories dried up. Some members of our circle vanished. One girl, the bravest among us, was found in a river. No one asked questions. I went back to being invisible. Months later, I saw a young actress stumble out of a club, the same dazed look I'd once worn. She had a fresh red mark just below her collarbone. I turned away. Back home, I stripped in front of the mirror, and I saw. Under the harsh white light, they emerged. Not 1, not 5, but dozens of red handprints, crawling across my skin like a living plague. My shoulders, my thighs, my neck, my ribs. They weren't bruises, they weren't burns. They were brands, punishments, proof. Proof of every time I turned away, every time I stayed quiet, every time I let it happen. I dropped to the floor, shaking. I had wanted to be seen. Now I couldn't look at myself. The marks were everywhere. Some new, still glowing, others old, deep like wine stains, faded but never gone. Some fingers dug into my flesh like they were trying to pull me underground. I could barely breathe. Then, a new one appeared right before my eyes. It bled into existence, blooming around my throat like a hand trying to strangle me from the inside out. Just the red. Always the red. I clawed at my neck, as if I could rip it off, erase it, scrub myself clean of every secret I'd buried under silence. But the handprints didn't just stain my skin. They owned me. They were justice for the voices I didn't protect. They were the rage of every soul I abandoned to save myself. I curled into a ball on the cold bathroom tile, sobbing soundlessly, because the red fingers around my throat were no longer symbolic. They were real, and they were winning. But I still had hands, still had breath, so I wrote. I bled it into pages. I titled it, The Red Handprints. It's not a cry for help. It's a record of rot, a monument to the cowardice that lives behind fame and filters. Maybe someone will read it. Maybe not. Maybe they'll see the marks too. Maybe they'll finally scream before it's too late.
I lit a match to feel a little warmth in the freezing night. Through the flickering flame, I wished for a full meal and a peaceful sleep. Tonight, I was sleeping on the streets again. I'm Josh. I've been homeless for 3 months now. My hands were so cold that they've gone completely numb. I lit another match to feel a bit of warmth. Suddenly, a gentle voice spoke up.
Do you need help?
I looked up and saw a woman in her 40s. Her eyes were warm as she smiled at me.
Hi, I'm Chloe. I'm a TikToker who helps the homeless. I'd like to help someone like you.
Chloe showed me her TikTok account, which had thousands of followers. Her live streams received a lot of donations.
Come with me. I'll help you find a job and get a better life, just like the others I've helped.
A spark of hope flickered in my chest. I agreed to follow her home, convinced this would be the turning point in my life. When I stepped into Chloe's house, something felt off. There was a strong scent of bleach in the air. I covered my nose and glanced around.
Don't worry, I just cleaned the house. Make yourself at home, but remember, you must never go to the end of the hallway.
I smiled and nodded, but the smell of bleach made me uneasy. Over the next few days, I joined Chloe's live streams and shared my story. Every time we went live, the donations kept pouring in. I could eat well and sleep soundly in a warm bed. My world seemed brighter, but a lingering unease gnawed at me. Every time I looked into Chloe's eyes, I sensed something was wrong, though I couldn't pinpoint what. One afternoon, while Chloe was out, I decided to watch TV to pass the time. A breaking news report shocked me. It was about the mysterious disappearances of several homeless people. My heart sank. One of them was Sam, someone I knew. I remembered seeing him with Chloe a few days ago, but there had been no live stream featuring him. What was going on? I took a deep breath to calm myself. I had been with Chloe for days now, and she had treated me well. My unease grew. Could Sam's disappearance be connected to Chloe? The overwhelming smell of bleach was suspicious. I decided to go to the end of the hallway. There, I found an old door. My heart raced as I opened it and stepped inside. The stench of bleach hit me again, sending chills down my spine. On a shelf, I saw dozens of blood-filled vials, all neatly sealed and organized. Then I saw the board, covered with photos of missing homeless people, just like in the news. I spotted Sam's picture. Only one thought raced through my mind. What has Chloe done to these people? My legs felt frozen. I saw my own photo on the board. Was I next? I had to escape immediately. When I opened my eyes, Chloe was staring at me with a cold gaze, nothing like the kindness she had shown before. I was stunned when I realized I had been tied on an operating table surrounded by medical tools and empty blood vials.
Didn't I tell you not to go to the end of the hallway?
What happened to Sam?
Sam? His blood will soon be sold on the black market. I'm going to be rich.
Her words hit me like a slap. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. You're a criminal, Chloe. She stepped closer and put on gloves.
You'll soon join your friend, Josh.
She injected something into my arm. My body grew heavy, and I could feel all my strength draining away. Chloe happily arranged the blood vials on a shelf.
A perfect plan.
She said with a grin. In that cold, sterile room, I realized I had fallen into a trap Chloe had set long ago. Sharp pains shot through me as my blood was drawn. I felt myself growing colder. I was making history. The Great Purge had begun, and I, President Donna Jump, was leading humanity toward a golden era. No more parasites, no more freaks, only real, strong, pure humans. It was the promise I had made to my people, and I intended to keep it. The world had become soft, overrun with degenerates and hybrids, all of them leeching off the hard-working men and women who built civilization. That was about to change. The vampires were first, the so-called immortals who had leeched off our resources for centuries, hoarding wealth, manipulating economies. They had outlived their usefulness. Draining resources, I called it. A necessary step toward efficiency. Cutting is a must. And the people cheered, their voices rising in a patriotic fervor that made my chest swell with pride. Next are the hybrids. These half-human creatures never truly belonging to humanity. Their existence is a stain on our species. They are dragged out of their homes, separated from their families, and sent back to where they were born, or, more nobly, they will serve genetic research. Olin Must assured me that his geneticists could filter out the non-human genes, purifying the worthy and discarding the rest. It was distasteful, but necessary. A sacrifice for the greater good. Must reminded me often.
All greatness requires sacrifice. It's a must.
Next came the personnel cuts. Those who were disobedient, those who wasted government funds, had to be eliminated. Must saw inefficiency as a disease. Only the strongest, most loyal remain. Departments merged, agencies dissolved, and redundancies disappeared overnight. Some were reassigned to re-education programs. Others simply vanished overnight. The government wasn't just streamlined. It was purified, cold, ruthless, and absolutely obedient to its new vision. Productivity soared, but at a chilling cost. Fear. I thought I was winning, until I started losing control. It began subtly. My security detail, hand-picked men I trusted, were replaced by silent, pale-faced operatives.
New recruits,
Must said with a reassuring smile. I was too busy to question him, too blinded by my own success. Orders I gave were mysteriously rewritten before reaching my generals. Policies I never signed off on appeared in government documents. When I questioned my staff, they either went missing or returned glassy-eyed, robotic in their responses, like puppets with invisible strings. People were disappearing. Not just dissenters, not just criminals. My allies, my advisors, those closest to me. I told myself it was paranoia, that Must had it under control. But then I confronted him in his sprawling research facility, demanding answers. He sat in his chair, hands steepled, smiling like a man who had already won.
There are still many who are unworthy, even within our own ranks.
For the first time, I felt uneasy. Then came Project Genesis. Must unveiled his masterpiece. New humans. No hunger. No sleep. No emotions. Perfect efficiency. Perfect loyalty to him.
New humans do not protest, do not rebel, do not demand. Isn't that your dream?
I saw it then. He never intended to create a better world for my people. He was building his kingdom, where he alone ruled over a race of mindless drones. I tried to stop him. I failed. My guards, no, his guards, grabbed me. Cold fingers, unyielding strength, not human. Must loomed over me as I was strapped to the surgical table.
We don't need two leaders, Jump. We need one mind, one vision. You and I must become one.
I screamed, fought, but the machine's word and the needles plunged into my veins. I felt myself dissolve. My thoughts, my memories sucked away, absorbed into something else. Someone else. As my mind unraveled, I saw flashes of my past. My rise to power, my promises, my victories. I saw my rallies. The millions who had once cheered my name. The empire I had built with my iron will. And then I saw the future. A world of silent, obedient creatures staring with empty eyes. A world where there was no dissent, no rebellion. A world where I did not exist. The last thing I saw before everything went dark was Olin Must staring down at me, his face shifting, morphing into something grotesquely familiar. My eyes widened in horror as I saw my own reflection in his features, twisted, warped, but undeniably me. The last thing I heard was his voice, layered over mine. Make human great again, starting with myself. The world kneeled before Donna Must, and I was no longer here to stop it. The world did not mourn me. My name was erased from history, my legacy rewritten to suit Must's vision. My supporters, once filled with fire, now stood in line, obedient, unquestioning. News anchors praised the new era, their voices hollow, their eyes vacant. Cities hummed with an eerie silence, the streets patrolled by beings who looked human but were anything but. I existed only as whispers in the shadows, a ghost in the machine of history. But somewhere deep in the recesses of Must's mind, a fragment of me remained, trapped, screaming, watching as my own creation was twisted into something monstrous. And I realized with bitter finality that I had been wrong. Humanity was not made great again. Humanity was gone.
I used to be adored. They called me a natural beauty, effortless, untouched, the golden standard. Cameras followed me. Brands begged for my face. I was the fantasy, myth made flesh. I didn't need to try. I just was. Then came the DM. Didn't know you were on OnlyFans. You're wild in those vids. At first, I laughed. A scam? A troll? I clicked the link. My breath caught. It was me. Or it looked exactly like me. Naked, moaning, twisting, pleading. My skin, my voice, my movements. Even the faint scar on my left hip from a jet ski accident when I was 19. I, was doing things I'd never done. Things I'd never let anyone do to me. I felt sick, violated. I reported the account, threatened legal action. It was removed within hours. But the next morning, it was back. Different username, same content. Only now the videos were even more perfect. Soft lighting, cinematic focus, background music synced to every breath, every thrust, every gasp. The way the light caressed her skin, it was like watching worship. I hated it, but I watched it, all of it. And later that night, when I stood in front of my mirror, my hands trembled. I looked tired, puffy, uneven, my pores too wide, my smile too tight. Not like her, not like the woman on the screen. It started with a little Botox, then lip fillers, new gym routine, new diet. But it wasn't enough. I went further. Cheek sculpting, chin reshaping, skin bleaching, rib contouring. Each surgery a step closer to the fantasy. I told myself it was to stay competitive, but deep down, I knew what I was doing. I was rebuilding myself to become her. My agent noticed. She said my smile didn't move right, that something in my eyes had gone. Still. Friends stopped texting. The silence got loud. I deleted them all. I launched my own OnlyFans. I studied every movement from the fake videos. Every glance, every moan. I bought the same sheer crimson robe. I even lit my bedroom to match the artificial glow of her scenes. But the views were abysmal. Her account, the fake, was pulling in hundreds of thousands. Mine, a few hundred, maybe. The comments burned more than any scalpel. Is this even the same person? This is why AI cannot compare to human. This one moves like wood. $3. Not worth. $3. I used to make $3 million per film. That's when something snapped. I watched her videos obsessively, mimicked every movement, tilted my chin until it ached, smiled until my jaw cramped. I stopped sleeping. I stopped eating. My thoughts began to stutter, like corrupted data. Sometimes I'd walk into a room and forget where I was. Other times I heard her voice, soft, inside my ears, inside my head. During a live stream one night it happened. My camera's phone feed froze, but the video kept going. She was there, smiling, tilting her head, winking. "You want to become like me?" she whispered. I screamed and threw the computer. Shards of glass bit into my feet, but she was still there, staring back from the black screen, blinking out of sync with me. She wasn't pretending anymore. Things got worse. Her face showed up everywhere. Paused commercials, glitching elevator screens, blinking on my smart fridge. People on the street would glance at me, then frown. One guy walked past me and muttered, "She's damn hot." But that wasn't me. I hired a hacker to trace the origin of the videos. When he returned, his face had lost all color.
These files, they weren't uploaded. They originated from inside the server. No creation date, no owner. They just exist.
He looked at me like I was insane. Then his expression changed. Condescending, amused.
That's it? You dragged me all the way here just to show me your But tell me, did you use CGI or something? Because in real life, you're nowhere near as hot as in those videos.
Something in me snapped. A fire surged behind my ribs. Rage, shame, and something worse. I wanted to prove him wrong, to prove I was better than the fake. Without thinking, I stood up, took off my coat and let it fall to the floor. Lace clung to my skin like second flesh. "Does that look fake to you?" I asked, voice low, shaky but defiant. He laughed, a short barking sound, disgusted.
Seriously? That's your move? She's smoother. She doesn't try so hard.
His eyes skimmed over me like I wasn't even real.
At least the fake knows how to sell it.
I slapped him, hard. He wiped the corner of his mouth, spat at my feet, and hissed through clenched teeth.
Oh, try harder!
Then he left, and I was alone with the screen again. One night, while I was practicing in front of the mirror, mimicking her expressions, her poses, trying to become her, she stepped out. Not a hallucination, not a dream. She walked out of the screen, barefoot, silent, smiling. She moved with a calm, uncanny grace, and stood before me like a reflection made flesh. She didn't attack. She didn't speak right away. She just looked at me, with a kind of pity, a knowing. Then she whispered, "You've been doing it wrong. Let me help." Her fingers touched my shoulders, adjusted my spine. She repositioned my hips, lifted my chin with one finger. Every movement was delicate, almost loving. She showed me how to breathe, slow, silky, seductive, how to smile like a secret sin, how to move like temptation made real. And for the first time, I didn't feel shame. I didn't feel fear. I felt seen. I felt right. Guess which one of us was real? Hey, my lovelies. Linda here, and today, we're diving into something revolutionary. Dermaglow Extreme Peel promises a whole new you, overnight. A fresh start. Literally. And who doesn't want to wake up looking brand new? The packaging was undeniably opulent and minimalist lettering that whispered of luxury. Ooh, fancy. Let's see what the hype is about. I unfolded the instructions, my eyes scanning the fine print. Become a new person in one night? Bold claim. But the reviews, they're glowing. A flicker of unease danced across my features. The brand was unsettlingly obscure, almost non-existent, yet the before and after photos were impossibly perfect. This was sent to me by a high-end skincare brand. They claim it's dermatologist approved, though there's not much info about them online. Still, the reviews are amazing, so let's give it a go. I squeezed a dollop of the pearlescent serum onto my fingertips. The texture was cool, almost icy, a stark contrast to the growing heat in the studio lights. Feels nice. A little tingle, but nothing crazy. I applied it all over my face, meticulously following the instructions. The initial coolness morphed into a subtle warmth, then a prickling heat that made my skin tighten. Okay, feeling that kick in. This is just it working its magic. A little facial workout. A very intense facial workout. A few minutes ticked by, each one an eternity. The heat intensified, morphing into a searing burn that made my skin feel like it was stretched to breaking point. I glanced at the mirror, my breath hitching. My face was a grotesque shade of crimson, tiny red bumps erupting like angry volcanoes. Whoa, that's intense. Definitely working. Wow, it's definitely potent. But beauty is pain, right? And trust me, the results are going to be so worth it. Imagine waking up with skin like porcelain, like a goddess. My eyes darted to the chat, where the comments were morphing from excited anticipation to frantic warnings. Guys, relax. It's all part of the process. You know how these extreme peels are. They're intense, but they're also incredibly effective. Just stick with me and you'll see. We're going to transform together. Think of this as a beauty ritual, a sacred transformation. I could feel something shifting beneath my skin, a subtle, unsettling movement. Isn't it amazing how quickly it works? Like, it's really getting deep, you know? It's like it's changing me from the inside out. Ha, ha, ha. Don't you just love that feeling? That transformative feeling? 15 minutes, the recommended time, the point of no return. My face throbbed, a pulsing, agonizing ache. This is more than I expected. Maybe I should rinse it off now. I rushed to the bathroom, desperate to wash it off. But as I touched my skin, a large patch peeled away. Panic seized me, my hands shaking as I frantically splashed water on my face. But it only made it worse. My skin sloughed off in sheets like wet paper. My pores dilated, oozing a thick, viscous fluid. My reflection was a horror show, a grotesque parody of my former self. I stumbled back to the studio, my vision blurring with tears. I looked at the mirror, and my blood ran cold. Something was moving under my skin, squirming, writhing. It felt like insects, like worms, desperate to escape. "Release me." A voice rasped from my throat, not mine. My fingers slick with the viscous ooze, trembled as I fiddled with the camera's focus. Just a little adjustment. We wouldn't want to miss any of the magic happening, would we? The shifting beneath my skin intensified, a frantic, desperate struggle. It's like a butterfly. You know, in its chrysalis, going through its metamorphosis. A beautiful, glorious transformation. The burning intensified, a searing, white-hot pain that made me want to scream. But the smile on my face remained fixed, an unnaturally wide, grotesque grin. Almost there, I crooned, my voice a distorted parody of my usual cheerful tone. Almost perfect. My eyes widened, not in fear, but in a strange, detached fascination. I watched as my reflection began to change, the smooth porcelain skin warping and twisting, forming grotesque alien shapes. Look at what it's doing. It's rebuilding me, making me better. The final layer of skin peeled away, revealing the grotesque alien face beneath. But even as I stared at the horrifying visage, it began to smooth out, to reshape itself. The warped features softened, the alien contours melted away, and a new face emerged. A face that was even more beautiful than my own. Perfect. Finally, perfect. Now, where were we?
No! I don't want to eat sahur!
Tun sahur. Share this with friends who don't eat sahur.
I remember the TikTok. It was meant to be a joke. It had millions of views. Millions. I wanted that for my channel. Anato 6. So I booked my flight to Indonesia. We picked a narrow alley in Yogyakarta. Quiet. Grimy. Lit only by the dim orange of half-working street lamps. I hired a local actor to wear a ridiculous costume I designed. Exaggerated limbs, painted mask, cartoonish bat. Locals warned us. One old man stared us down, muttered something in Bahasa that I barely caught.
Jangan main-main. Itu bukan untuk lelucon.
My fixer translated, eyes low.
He said, "Don't play with what you don't understand."
We laughed. Come on, it's just a meme. I even shouted down the alley, arms raised. If the real Tung Tung Sahur is out there, come on, show yourself, give us a scare. We laid out a full spread. Nasi lemak, beef rendang, sweet tea. Everything framed perfectly under our soft lights. The plan was simple. I'd pretend to sleep on a mat while our actor banged a drum 3 times off screen. Tongue, tongue, tongue. I don't respond. Then, on the 4th beat, he storms in, smacks me with the bat, shoves food in my mouth and dances to the audio.
Tung 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 sahur. A terrifying anomaly that only appears during sahur.
We hit record. The first takes were hilarious, until they weren't. On the final shot, just after our actor finished his bit and stepped off camera, tongue, a fourth drum beat, but no one was supposed to hit it yet. I sat up. Who did that? No answer. Our cameraman, Buddy, chuckled, unsure.
Wasn't me.
Then tongue, two more. But this sound wasn't part of our gear. It was deeper, wetter, like something rotting was vibrating inside the drumhead. Then tongue, the fourth. The lights blew out, street lamps dimmed to a dying ember, and something stood behind the feast. It was not our actor. This thing was taller, broader. Its mask wasn't foam, it was real wood, rotting and splintered. The bat in its hand wasn't fake. It was gnarled, heavy and stained with something dark. We froze. I tried to laugh. Okay, who's messing with us? But my voice cracked. Buddy stepped forward.
I'm checking this out.
He reached for the mask. The thing moved like lightning. Crack. The bat dropped onto his head. His skull collapsed like an eggshell. Blood sprayed across the table. Then came the screaming. We ran, split down different alleys, stumbling through tight corridors and flickering shadows. Behind me, tongue, a slow beat. Then ahead, tongue. It didn't run, it didn't need to. It knew the alleys better than us. It herded us. One by one, my team vanished. I heard Nia's voice, our assistant, crying, choking. Then, crack. I ducked into a mushola, a small neighborhood prayer room. Inside, an old man sat cross-legged, whispering prayers. He didn't look up.
You brought it here. You mocked the Saho call. You summoned judgment.
I begged him for help.
You turned sacred rhythm into performance. And now you must face the consequences. You don't belong here.
He said coldly.
Run.
I found an empty house a few doors down. Dead plants, cracked windows, something ancient in the dust. I locked the door, shoved a chair under the knob, collapsed in the corner. But then, tongue. I jolted awake. Tongue. No, please. Not again. Tongue. The third beat. Then the fourth. It stooped to pass through the doorway, impossibly tall, a towering silhouette that defied reason. Its mask was fractured, the broken pieces revealing dark, hollow voids beneath, pulsing hunger.
Wake up and eat.
I ran. It followed. Through the rotting house, smashing through walls like they were paper. I tripped, fell down a staircase, felt my shins snap. I crawled. It caught me. It didn't kill me. It broke me. One arm, then the other, legs next. It set me upright like a doll at the dinner table, the one we had prepared.
You will not waste Saho.
It hissed. It shoved cold rendang into my mouth. I gagged, vomited. It scooped it up, shoved it back in.
You prepared this meal.
It whispered.
You will finish it.
I don't know how long it went on. I chewed through the tears, through pain, through blood and bile. Because if I didn't, it beat me harder. Until the plate was clean, until the table was empty. And when it was satisfied, it stood, looked down on me, silent, then turned, and vanished into the dark. I collapsed to the floor, Everything in me screamed. My stomach twisted, my limbs hung uselessly. But worse than the pain was what settled in my chest. Regret. Not for chasing the views, not for flying halfway around the world for a video, but for the blasphemy, for making a meme out of something sacred, for mocking what others revere, for turning ritual into spectacle, faith into content.
I never thought there was anything wrong with the way I loved him. While others called it obsession or delusion, I saw it as something pure, devotion. Not just the kind that cheers in crowds or collects photo cards, but the kind that longs to know everything, the kind that wants to get close. Minjae had always been the perfect idol. His voice was soft, his eyes tender, and the way he smiled at his fans made you feel like you mattered. I clung to that illusion, because to me, it was never an illusion. I believed, truly believed, that if I stayed close enough, watched long enough, loved him hard enough, he would see me. The distance between us would dissolve. That's why I became a Sasaeng. Not to hurt him, not to cross some moral line. I only wanted to be someone who knew him better than anyone else. I wanted to slip between the folds of his public life and settle into the spaces where no one else had reached. At the fan meeting, I handed him the gift I made, a soft white teddy bear, stitched carefully by hand. He smiled as he took it from me, eyes crinkling the way they always did when he wanted to seem sincere. I know you collect bears. I made this one myself, just for you. He thanked me, unaware that hidden just beneath the bear's eyes was a small, silent camera, one that would quietly reveal the life I longed to be a part of. After that, I watched him every night. The bear sat neatly on a shelf in his living room, among dozens of others, but mine always faced the center. Through that tiny lens, I saw fragments of his private world. Minjae entering his apartment, setting down his bag, stretching his arms with a tired sigh. He'd hum sometimes, pour a drink, say a few soft words on the phone before slipping into silence again. And I watched, eyes wide, heart full. I would fall asleep to the sound of his voice echoing through my speakers, my dreams warm and filled with the illusion of proximity. Then, one day, a message appeared in the group chat. Minjae was filming out of town and wouldn't return until late. My breath caught. His apartment would be empty for hours. I didn't even hesitate. I had memorized the building's security code from his hand movements, seen through the bear's lens. That night, I stood outside his door, my heart pounding, the hum of the hallway lights buzzing in my ears. I pressed the code. The lock clicked open. The air inside his home was clean. Detergent, citrus, cologne. I stepped in slowly, almost reverently. Everything was exactly as I imagined it. His shoes lined neatly, the soft creak of wood beneath my feet, the faint humming of the fridge. The teddy bear I made was still there, but the others surrounding it looked wrong up close. Their fur wasn't consistent. Some had patches of different colors, stitched together in uneven seams. One had what looked like strands of real hair woven above its ear. A chill touched my spine, but I told myself not to overthink. Everyone has strange habits. What mattered was that my bear was still intact, still watching. I opened the fridge, rearranged his drinks, left a bottle of his favorite yogurt. I touched his coats, pressed my face into his scarves. In the bathroom, I painted our names on the mirror using red lipstick. Yuri plus Minjae, with a little heart drawn beside it. And then I slipped into his bed. The sheets were cool and soft. For a while, I lay there quietly, imagining a version of life where this was normal, where I belonged here. Before I left, I slipped a small hand-stitched doll under the bed, a charm made to bind us together, to make him love me the way I loved him. Then I heard the door open. My breath caught. He wasn't supposed to be home yet, but instead of panic, I felt a strange rush. He was here. I would see him just for a moment, and then I'd go, I crept into the wardrobe and pulled the door almost closed, crouching low behind his clothes. Through the narrow slit, I saw him enter the bedroom. I felt my heart bloom. He liked it. He brought it with him. But then calmly, he reached under his pillow and pulled out a knife. Before I could react, he stabbed the bear, ripped it open. His fingers dug into the stuffing and pulled out the camera. He held it up to the light, studying it. Then he said,
"You're the one who gave me this at the fan meeting, aren't you?"
I froze. He poured himself a glass of wine, swirling it gently, and walked slowly across the room.
"I've always known someone was watching,"
he said, eyes glancing toward the wardrobe.
"It's a lovely feeling, being desired like that."
He walked straight to the wardrobe and pulled the door open. I didn't even get the chance to scream before everything slipped away, the world fading to black without a sound. When I woke, my arms and legs were bound to a metal chair. The room was cold and dim, the air thick with the stench of rot. I blinked slowly as my vision cleared, and then I saw them. Lining the shelves were teddy bears, but these weren't stitched from fabric. Their patchwork skin was unmistakably human, with strands of real hair still clinging to some of their heads. Blood had dried into the seams. The stitching was crude, careless. In front of me, a glass table held small parts, fingernails, teeth, clumps of hair, scraps of stained fabric. Folders were stacked beside them, each with photos of girls I recognized from online. Other fans like me, all of them missing. And then I heard his voice, soft and close behind me. Minjae stepped into the light, a scalpel glinting in his hand as he smiled gently, almost tenderly. Behind him, the wall was covered in Polaroids, Minjae smiling beside dozens of girls. But their eyes were empty, their faces lifeless. Blood-red hearts were drawn around some of them, crude and dripping. I screamed at him, called him a monster, told him he was fake. He only laughed.
"The version of me you adored, that's just a character. Something the company built. But you wanted to know the real me. Isn't that why you watched?"
He crouched down beside me and gently touched the cut on the back of my hand. Then slowly, he leaned in and licked the blood. And I finally understood. Minjae was never the one being watched. He wanted to be watched. He craved it. He fed off it. We weren't obsessed with him. He was obsessed with us. And now I was part of his collection. Forever.